Hey Azariah, this is Keaton Everett with ABC, going over your pitching video from camp. We're going to go through and talk a little bit about your mechanics and your motion, break it down frame by frame and kind of go through and talk a little bit about what we look for throughout your delivery. At your age, it's just sort of a matter of getting your timing down, sort of understanding how your body needs to work. So as you get older, get a little bit stronger, it's going to be a lot easier for you to kind of put all the pieces together. All right, so we'll go through and go back here to the start. It's basically balance, timing, consistency for you at this age. And so what we look at right here is, what sort of your initial setup. So much of how we start dictates how we're going to finish. That's real important to sort of look at the setup. So we're just going to look at what your head's doing, where your balance is as you start your motion once you lift that leg up to get going. All right, you can see the camera kind of moves back, but you're doing a good job at staying over this back leg. All right, you don't move back. You don't move forward. You're right over that back leg, which is good to see. All right, you're nice and balanced. All right, one thing for the setup wise, and when I go through and talk a little bit more about sort of your lower half, is we want to try to get everything set up as efficiently as we can. So if we cue in on this bottom leg right here, and we step through here, you can see how your back leg gets back to this spot. All right, this is a really good spot to be in right here. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But to cut sort of this distance down from here to here, to make it as efficient as we can, you just want to pop that foot in there a little bit more closed off. You can see you kind of set up a little bit open right here. All right, so what we want to do is cut down that distance. If this spot is going to have to travel more than this spot right here, and so just kind of bring this foot so it's a little bit closed off. More right here. Have that foot, you can see it's kind of pointed out towards, the third base dugout. Just get it a little bit more closed off, so you can start with these hips closed off too a little bit more. Right here is just kind of opened, and then when you start, you're going to get in that position. It's just about making it easier, as easy as you can, just making it something that you can repeat. And so just set up, a little bit more closed off, maybe about right here. And then that's about it. But again, everything's good. You're staying over that back leg, which is good to see. All right, so as you get going through your motion, all right, you're doing a really good job right here. All right, the hips are closed off. We want the main sort of driving force through your mechanics, where you get your velocity, especially as you get older, is your ability for your hips to drive first down the mound, to lead down the mound. And then, the upper body is kind of there to time and everything. But your power is generated from this. That's why pitchers a lot of times work on their legs and run a whole bunch, because we got to have strength in that leg. All right. But right here, so this is right to that point where this is basically the height of your leg kick right here. All right. So now the timing that I was kind of talking about is we want to see hips start to go first. And all we want to do is just kind of see this leg and the foot kind of just drop down, but we don't want it to ever get out in front of your hips. We want your hips to lead, all right, and then we want to see that ball start coming out of your glove here. All right, so as we tick forward here through the frames, all right, you can see your hands are starting to break, but what I want you to sort of key in on is what that lower half's doing, all right, and you can see with your foot here, we kind of draw a line across. You can see it kind of swing out right about there. So maybe if we go back to about right here, all right, you can see that it just kind of swings out and opens up. And then when you land, you land a little bit open. So if we're, but other than that, it's pretty solid. But you can see if you draw a line straight down, you're probably landing about a foot length outside. We want to try to land somewhere around that straight line. We want to be, it's okay to be closed off a little bit, but we don't want it to be opening up. All right, and all that's doing is that just from that action right back here I was kind of cueing in on is you can see this leg kind of swings out. All right, everything swings out. What you want to try to sort of feel is, kind of letting that foot kind of drive that heel down as your hips go forward. So, in this position right about here, your knees about right there and your foot still here, if that kind of makes sense. How you want the hips to still be driving and to not kick that leg out too fast, too quick. You're doing good at breaking your hands though. You got a good break over the rubber. All right, and so then it's just a matter of just keeping your hips closed long. Just think about keeping your hips closed longer as far as you can down the mound, and that left leg's going to pop out on its own. And then through your foot strike here, so once that front foot hits the ground, it looks like you're hitting the ground right there with your heel, and you can see it, you're kind of, pointing out there. But a lot of great things here too is you got your weight back over that back hip. All right, a lot of times you're going to see kids start to get out over their front foot. All right, you start seeing that lean. You have a really good angle with your elbow and your shoulders, your gloves out over that front foot. So this is really good. I don't see this a whole lot with kids your age. All right, so now if it's just a matter of just moving that front foot to, about right here, that you're going to be well ahead of everyone else mechanically. All right, so it's very good to see. Nice work. It's just about getting that extension down the mound and using those legs. So then as you rotate forward, all right, you're getting pretty good at getting down over that front foot. All right, torque, hip-shoulder separation. When you get your power, is the ability for your hip to start forward before your shoulders. You can see you're kind of there a little bit. You're kind of rotating a little bit at the same time, but again, at your age, it's just a strength thing. It's not so much mechanical or anything. It's just that strength thing. And so when you get older, I think that's going to be something that is pretty good for you. And then, too, you can kind of see that you get out a little bit front early. You can kind of see the top of your shoe dragging. So you're just sort of rotating early a little bit with your backside. So you're just kind of over-rotating almost. And what's causing that over-rotation, you can see you're dragging the top of your foot, is just that you're landing open. All right, so you're kind of landing open. You see your foot's facing that way. You're open here, so to kind of try to get everything queued up is this hip's going to have to rotate a little bit too far, and that's what's causing that foot. So again, this is the biggest thing for you, just work on that direction, and that'll take care of so many other problems. And then you can see with that over rotation, you kind of push the ball a little bit, and you can see that elbow, you kind of see some space in there. That elbow gets out a little bit in front, and you kind of push a little bit, which isn't too bad. But as you get older, that'll start putting some pressure on your shoulder and your elbow. But again, everything's pretty solid there. Really good for your age. Like I said before, just work on that direction. Just get on the mound, draw a line in the dirt with your foot straight towards the plate, and then just kind of work on keeping your hips closed as long as you can. Just trying to land sort of on that line, in line a little bit more, because everything else is good. So when you get older and stronger, everything's going to be pretty solid for you. But overall, pretty good job. So keep up the good work, man. Thanks for making it out to camp. Hopefully you had a great time, and we look forward to seeing you with ABC.